You may remember that back in March, we had a Chinese spy balloon flying through our atmosphere.
Correct.
Well, here's a fun fact for you kiddies. We use things like this all of the time. I can't go into detail because of NDAs, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you this. If there was one spy balloon, there was probably 5 or 6 spy balloons. And this is the one that got noticed by the public. And that's about it. But as it turns out, let's go to the article itself here. The Chinese surveillance balloon that transfixed the nation earlier this year may have popped, but funding to protect against similar threats is inflating. That's a load of nonsense. We've known about these things for
Forever.
Pretty much forever. They're ridiculously easy to spot.
Yes.
It's a massive balloon with a massive equipment package hanging below it. It's a well-hung balloon, you might say.
And we have to spend yet more money on top of the defenses we already have that should have been able to shoot this shit down immediately.
Which means somebody's getting kickbacks.
Yes. We know. Listen.
Somebody's getting kickbacks because we've known about this technology for years.
Yeah, I had to wear
my well-hung balloon joke just went flat.
That was good.
That's fine.
But, I know somebody's getting a kickback because I remember wearing that digital army uniform, the gray one.
Yeah.
When I talk about glowing in the dark, that thing was about as stupid as it gets.
I don't know where they tested that. It's supposed to be tested down in Texas.
That's bullshit.
But it was that was a lot of crap.
That screams kickbacks.
The thing is, we've known that China has been spying on us for years. Flips over to next page.
Well, hang on.
About the balloon. Go ahead.
All right. So they're not just spying on us. You're familiar with corporate espionage, right?
China Entrepreneur Club. It's called the China Entrepreneur Club.
I'm just saying, if a United States company wants to do business in China, they have to surrender their patent information.
That's correct.
All right. That is a big no in my opinion.
Right.
And I have no idea why we have sent so much of our jobs in industry over there for them just to, retool our stuff and use our own technology against us. This needs to come to an end.
What we need, Pop, is a stack of monopoly money here in the studio. So when you make remarks like that, I can simply pick up the hooker stack and start doing this because that's why we're giving up the patents and all of that stuff.
Correct.
Somebody is getting, again, kickback. Somebody's getting paid. Point blank.
Correct.
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah. And listen, we need to have people in charge who genuinely love this country.
That hasn't been the case since at least the mid-1980s.
Yeah, I know. Because the people who've been running the show since the early 90s, late 80s, literally are bought and paid for. We have the best government we could you can have, except we as the American citizen, we just can't afford it.
I don't know about the rest of our audience out there, how old the rest of these guys are. I know Jimmy won't remember this one, but back when we were kids, to say made in China was to say something was a piece of shit.
Yes, I remember
those days. That was the phrase we used to say this is crap.
And before that, it was Japan.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But as it turns out, if you nuke an entire country, they get really creative.
Oh, yeah.
So there is that. Meanwhile, back to this article here about Chinese spy balloons and their spyings. The suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that violated American airspace has fueled a diplomatic crisis, but the two countries have a long history of spying on each other. To be precise, close to 100 years. A lot of people don't know this. China wasn't very organized. The Japanese controlled the vast majority of it, but it started in trade, and it started for the British back during the Boxer Rebellion and the Opium Wars
in the 1800s.
In Shanghai and Hong Kong.
That's what, 1870, 1880?
Yeah, late 1800s.
Like yeah.
And it ended with Britain winning that and getting Hong Kong for a 100-year lease in 1897, which is why Hong Kong went back to China in 1997. The Chinese have been doing corporate and business espionage against Western countries since that time.
Correct.
But this military stuff, this is fairly recent. This really began during the Korean War. So 50s, early 1950s. It started right around there. Then they started to get good at it in the 60s and 70s. And then Nixon went to China and made a bunch of trade deals with China.
And then Carter.
Took it further.
Yep.
And next thing we know, everything is being made over here. I don't know how many of you remember this either, but textiles, steel, rubber,
all shut down.
Petroleum, all shut down in the United States.
Yeah.
You know where it went? China and India.
Yeah, and let's just put this into perspective. All right, now this should not be happening. It should not be cheaper to mine iron ore here, put it in a ship, send it across to China, have them do what they do to turn it into steel, put it back on a ship, and send it back over here. Something in that whole equation is wrong. It needs to be addressed.
Yep.
One of our favorite songs in at least here in the Midwest, the Ballad of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
When she sank, she had a load of iron ore 20,000 times more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. It's a lyric in the damn song. It's telling you right there that we were doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Copper from the Upper Peninsula. We had copper mines. We had lumber. All of our timber gets cut and sent to China and then back to us.
Yeah, that's insane. That just cannot go on forever. At some point, it is going to collapse, and it is going to be very bad for everyone involved.
Yep.
And JHCH01 says Egypt and India cotton are cheaper and better. I have a news flash for you, JH. Egypt has always made good cotton, and I mean for thousands of years.
Yeah, since
Egypt has always had good cotton.
Ancient Egypt.
It dates all the way back to the Greeks, who originally controlled Egypt. The Ptolemies.
Well, no, I think Egypt originally controlled Egypt, and then the Greeks took it over. Yeah, you are correct.
I'll fight you over that, but that's a different show entirely.
All right.
So where am I going with all this Chinese surveillance? Well, it turns out that General Milley knew about all of this the entire time.
And he did fuck all?
The Chinese surveillance balloon even hacked into U.S. internet service and was broadcasting to China through our internet service while over our territory. General Milley, who was supposed to be in charge of our armed forces and their actions, did exactly nothing, which is absolutely treason. For those of you unfamiliar with what treason consists of, I point you to U.S. Code 18, Section 2381. I will throw it in. Ooh, I think you brought Australian. That's awfully kind of you. 18, U.S. Code.
You're getting the actual legal description of treason?
Yes.
I just wonder how long it'll be before they change it.
They haven't changed it yet. They're just not enforcing any of it.
Yeah.
But for Milley to take that action is absolutely treason. There's simply no question of it. That spy balloon, and there were others as well. They must have known about the others. The one that got seen is the one that got seen, and they're like cockroaches. Well, I know we used them. I could show you the siege balloons.
I'm just wondering, was it spotted by civilians in the beginning?
Yeah.
Because it should have been all over our radars.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. It was all over our radars.
Yeah. And they ignored it until somebody saw it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So who really knows how many times that's happened and nobody detected it or nobody said anything about it?
Steve OUK, I thought American cotton came from Negro slaves. I have to. So the Industrial Revolution started in 1856. By the time the Civil War started in 1864, was it 1860?
It's 1860.
1860, the Industrial Revolution had reached the United States of America. Slaves were antiquated farm equipment by that time, man. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Anyway, back to our story.
All right. Don't get in the sidetrack for.
I got sidetracked. I'm sorry.
All right. You're new here.
Squirrel.
We'll get you squared away.
Squirrel. You need a squirrel throw. Basically, our military has been letting China do things like this for probably, I would say, 2 decades now. I remember working with some of the balloons. They're easily detectable. We only kept them over battlefield areas where we could control the airspace. That China thinks they could float one over our airspace.
Yeah.
And that I know that they are so easily detected by radar tells me that this is a backdoor deal of some kind.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Bought and paid for.
Bought and paid for. and it is absolutely treason.
Well, we got a son, directly implicated in
Yep.
corruption, so
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Yeah, that's I'm hot about this one.
Yes.
I get short of speech when I get this angry because
really?
treason chafes my ass. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk anymore. I want to do other things,
I gotcha.
but they're illegal and I look fat in federal orange.
And we're old. We can't
we're
really do anything about it other than talk shit about it.
Yeah, I could talk a lot of shit.
All we can really do is point to it and go,
pretty much. Yeah,
that's pretty much all we could do. And that's what we're doing
about
here.
where we're at. This whole thing with China, we're going to do a whole other show based just
on China.
On this China.
And now listen, if you think, for the most part, if you think China economically is doing good, they are not.
They're not.
They are inflating their currency. They are cutting corners. Yeah. They're letting large areas of the country basically, disintegrate.
Yes. And most of the country, I think it was 80%, they said, is living on basically what amounts to $180 a month.
Yep.
In China, about $180 US a month, 2,000 renminbi, 2,000 RMB. That's their currency. Used to be called the yuan. They changed it to the renminbi.
Whatever.
That's fine. What it means is the people's money, literally.
Yeah.
So you've got this economic not superpower. What they are is all communism is, first of all, is elitists parasiting off of the population. That's all
everyone.
Communism is.
Yeah. Socialism too.
Yeah. So socialism is communism light.
Yeah.
They let people think they're doing okay. Communism is they're not even bothering anymore.
Yes, you're right.
How much farmland does China really own? More than Bill Gates and less than 17 other countries. That surprised me a little bit. China purchases of U.S. agricultural land sparked concerns in Congress among a bipartisan group of lawmakers, but 18 other countries own more agricultural land acres than China. They appear to be trying to defend China's ownership of U.S. land. I have been to many different countries. Pop's been to a lot of countries. I got a little more into the diplomatic weeds on some of this stuff. Other countries, if you're a foreigner, you can't own
land.
You cannot own land.
Yeah.
You cannot own land. But here in the United States, for whatever reason,
well, that needs to come to an end as well.
We sell our land to foreigners left, right, and center.
We need to stop that shit.
That's insane. Citing staff shortages, the Department of Agriculture didn't penalize foreign parties for violating reporting rules from 2015 to 2018, prompting 28 lawmakers to criticize the department's complete lack of accountability and oversight.
Oh,
nobody knows by no land.
Shocker. No accountability or oversight for our own government. Oh, no.
So,
goddamn.
Concern about Chinese purchases of U.S. agricultural land. Here's where the spy balloon comes in. Purchases of U.S. agricultural land increased in late January when Chinese-based Fufang Group was prevented from building a corn mill on land close to a North Dakota Air Force base after officials called it a security risk. You know what base that was?
What's it?
I do.
No, what was it?
Minot.
Minot?
It's a major SAC.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's a strategic
air command base.
That's where our nukes are. And China was going to just buy the farmland next to the base.
Yeah. Of course, they're totally innocent.
Totally innocent.
Yeah,
that's Minot. That's where the nukes are.
Yeah, this needs to come to an end. This is really ridiculous.
Communism is socialism with somebody in charge. That's a fairly accurate description. Communists always use food as a weapon. Always. Yes, that is correct. Yep. They starved people the hell out. Minot is not a SAC. It's a GSC. It's still a major missile base. Used to be a SAC. In my day, it was a SAC. Maybe it's a GSC now.
All right.
The Chinese spy balloon shot down February 4th increased worries that foreign governments could use land for espionage efforts. Of course, we've got the NGO. Used to be NEMA, the mapping agency. I've seen all of their imagery from those. These are out of date now, and most of them are actually fallen out of orbit. The keyhole and the LASPs.
Well, do
you remember those?
That's what they used before Google Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much better up there now. There's so much better up there now.
I remember
but the old keyhole and LASP imagery.
Well, I remember requesting that imagery when I was in Iraq.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was coming off of. It became NGO in 2002. It was originally NEMA before that. But China owns roughly 384,000 acres of U.S. agricultural land. That's really not that much.
It should be zero.
It should be zero. It absolutely should be zero. Of that, 195,000 acres worth almost $2 billion are owned by 85 Chinese investors, which could be individuals, companies, or governments.
Don't care.
That's the Chinese economic club that I was talking about earlier, and that's
here's the other thing.
We'll go into that later.
It's not just China. Any fucking foreign country should not own land here in this fucking country,
including maybe especially Britain.
Yeah.
We fought a war, guys. Sorry, you don't get to buy that land back.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. But it goes down to, where are we? Ownership jumped from 30% 2019 to 2020, from some 247,000 acres to roughly 352,000 acres. U.S. companies with Chinese shareholders more than doubled their acreage that year, accounting for 102 acres of the growth, and China acquired another 32,000 U.S. agricultural acres in 2021.
But here's the funny part, right? They bought that with $2 billion, right? $2 billion of their funny money, which is overinflated. They bring it over here. They actually get a tangible asset, land.
Yes.
Bought with basically paper mache money, in my opinion.
Yes, it is paper mache money.
Yes.
And here's the thing. On that much land, I could tell you right now, they could do anything they want in the middle of that land, and you'll never see it unless you've constantly got a satellite dedicated to that, or a drone.
Correct.
They could do whatever they want. And they'll get under there, and these guys will tunnel. Do you know about the Chinese tunnels? Everybody knows about the North Korean tunnels.
I never heard about
Vietnamese tunnels. The Chinese build whole cities underground. There is no reason to think that they couldn't have done that here in the U.S. already, given the numbers of Chinese that are flooding in across the border and everything.
Correct. We'll get to that.
That's going on. That's a teaser.
It's a teaser.
That's a teaser.
And in 2000, they did release a list of 2 million-ish CCP operatives.
Yeah. That should be part of the China episode. We'll do a China episode.
Yes. Yeah.
All of this is going on. The Chinese spy balloon using our own internet to broadcast information back to China. The Chinese buying up all of this land and everything. And these dates here are from 2021.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. But that just punctuates that our government is just
doing nothing,
one hand after another.
Yeah.
Aiding and providing succor to the enemy, allowing the enemy to do what the enemy wants, is treason. 18 U.S. Code Section 2381.
Correct.
Technically,
we're not at war with them.
We are too.
But, it's not a shooting war, but it is a, listen, they're waging war on the psychological level, spiritual level. They're attacking all of our institutions. They're buying influence. I mean, come on. This is just absolutely insane.
The Mexican cartels have extensive tunnel networks. China certainly exploits them, says your ma'am. Yeah, I believe you. So the Chinese are the lizard people living underground. I knew it. That's fantastic. I did say succor. You'll be fine. Look, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States of America states 2 points. That the federal government shall, and it uses the word shall, and we've gone over this before. Shall means motherfucker, you have no option.
That's right.
Shall provide a republican form of government and shall protect the several states from invasion. The federal government has failed on both of these points.
Both of them.
The contract is broken. This government has, by its own hand, forfeit its powers and offices.
I would agree with that.
It's the John Wick scene. You have by your own hand.
Yep.
And then he shoots her. We're there.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, by thine own hand.
We're there. But there's that list here of countries that own. There's Canada.
Yeah.
Listen, fuck Canada. I know I have people watching it from Canada, but you shouldn't be owning any of our fucking farmland. Sorry. Ireland, fuck you guys. Luxembourg, suck a dick. Denmark, take it in the pooper. France, you surrender monkey motherfuckers.
She's eating surrender monkeys.
You don't. Yeah, Portugal, Germany, UK, eat a dick.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.